thing. I'm a dad to a 2.5-year-old little girl named Reese, and I'm a weather enthusiast. And fun fact, if you don't know what grapple is, I am more than happy to tell you.
Nick comes alive when he talks about the weather. It's honestly the highlight of my mornings. It's just so fun. I'm Sarah. I'm the Senior Marketing Manager of Customer Engagement, which is a really long title, but really I'm just here to help our customers be as successful as possible. From 5 to 9, I love true crime podcasts. I always try and get into other ones, but I don't find them nearly as engaging as true crime, even though I have my own. There's a whole bunch of issues with that, but won't get into it. I am super hyperactive. I love to do any kind of activity. Right now, I'm really hooked on boxing, yoga, and soccer. And I am the middle sister of 3 girls.
Awesome. So let's get into it. And so the big thing is sales and marketing are burning through their prospects with impersonal touches that all look the same. And I hate to use the word touches because it's such like a creepy word. Like no one wants to be touched at the end of the day. And so this drives marketers to turn their attention towards engagement. And I think it's important that, we think of it as, I don't need to tell you that a normal executive's inbox, or nowadays, pretty much everyone's inbox looks like this, where hundreds of emails, LinkedIn messages, voicemails, they're all vying for attention, but no one is ever really standing out from the rest. And I think it's important, like, how do you thrive in a digital world and cut through the noise? And we're here to hopefully help you with that. And, this whole thing it's not working. More people than ever are opting out of communication. And with the rise of privacy laws, you can never contact them again. This acts as a forcing function for marketers and sellers. And we need to start turning our attention towards actual engagement, not volume.
Yeah, I mean, we're not just making this up, you don't have to take our word for it. 57% of B2B marketers say that their biggest challenge is getting targeted prospects to engage in marketing programs, according to Chief Marketer. And another report from Demand Gen Report said 77% of demand gen leaders are saying that increasing campaign engagement is their top goal in 2020 and beyond. And so obviously, we've been talking about marketing engagement. Gartner has been saying the same thing. You should include helpful and personalized information, provide a positive customer experience, build customer loyalty. And when you're thinking about how exactly to increase the engagement rates you're seeing in your marketing campaigns, a channel that most marketers turn to when they think about positive customer experiences is gifting, right? Like we're Alyce, we do gifting. A lot of people turn to direct mail and gifting when they're trying to drive not only attention, but also action. Unfortunately, it's not really working anymore. Those touches, quote unquote, are still impersonal, especially when you think about how many people are sending swag with their own logo on it to customers who don't really know them. It's very generic. It's one-to-many. It's not really one-to-one. It's honestly kind of a waste. I can tell you that a lot of t-shirts, water bottles, pens, whatever those magnet things are, have ended up in the trash. And it's already labor intensive on you to send those out just to end up in the trash can. So it's kind of taking advantage of this very personal marketing channel that is something that someone can physically hold in their hands. And so we're not necessarily saying that gifting isn't the answer. We're just saying that something has to change.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not about changing the channels that you're using or finding a new suite of tools that can help. It's the approach that's broken, not the channels. And if businesses need a new approach, or they're going to have no prospects left. It goes back to burning through your prospects so much. And basically, the opt-out rate being 10x, you're going to have no one left to contact. And so I think it's that approach should basically be taking impersonal touches and turning them into moments throughout the customer life cycle, all the way through from awareness through to advocacy. And so marketers need to find a way to engage with prospects during the moments in their funnel that matter the most, where trust is building and you can kind of be a formative part of that person's relationship with your business. And, it's important to know that gifting can be used more than just like a cold door opener. And lots of people that I talk to think that that's kind of like the primary thing. But, you've got the events, that's a huge piece of it. You've got all the way through to customer success milestones. And we'll kind of go into a lot of these tangible takeaways for you. But there's so many moments that you can create for your prospects and customers. And I think it's really important to remember that. It's some people may think that personal gifting is just for sales prospecting. We have a product that helps marketers turn those one-to-many moments and create one-to-one experiences in a personal yet scalable way. And for, this is just a quick refresher on the Alyce Activate product. This isn't necessary in the creation, execution of your marketing campaigns, but it does help you facilitate more personal moments on a scalable level through those moments in the marketing funnel by having a universal gift link that you can share with prospects or customers who are whitelisted through a Marketo smart list or CSV file. You then choose the universal gift and then you let us do the rest. But let's be honest, you don't need Alyce Activate to be personal at scale. Instead, you can find moments in the marketing funnel where you have the opportunity to turn each touch into a moment. And being able to leverage that will only provide you success.
For sure. So we're back to this fun little marketing funnel graphic. We're here to show you sort of parts in the marketing funnel where you can not only leverage gifting, but also just you can create personal experiences in your marketing funnel so that you create memorable moments for your customers throughout their life cycle. Whether you choose to incorporate gifting or not, this will just kind of get your wheels turning in terms of how you can take your one-to-many approaches and scale them to feel one-to-one, which feels like an oxymoron, but we promise you can actually do that. So let's jump in. Let's just start with a channel we all know and love, content engagement. You're engaging our content right now. How's it feel? Are you having fun? Well, content is a huge part of any buyer's journey. I don't have to be the first person to tell you this. You all already know. But B2B companies are working with this thing called a consumption gap, where people are downloading their content, but it takes a long time for prospects to actually consume their content, especially as you go higher up in the company. So directors and VP levels are taking a ton of time to consume that content. But companies need those prospects to consume that content so that they get it, so that they're ready to have a sales conversation with their team. So that means that you can leverage something like gifting to encourage content consumption. You can say, download our state of 2020 report for X, Y, and Z and get a free gift while you're at it. So with Alyce, we have a feature or function called a post-gift CTA, where you send a gift, that person accepts the gifts, and it redirects you to a specific landing page. And that's exactly the kind of flow you can create here, where someone requests to download the content, you send them an email with the gift that you've offered on the landing page, and then that post-gift CTA brings them right to the content. So they can't do anything but consume that content after they can't do anything but consume that content after they've accepted the gift. It's a really great way to just make sure that you have a really seamless digital experience while also making your VPs and director level prospects and customers feel a little bit special because they get a gift.
Yep, absolutely. Pro tip too, I hate when people put a 3-page form to get any type of content. I don't even get a gift out of it. If someone was like, oh, hey, here's literally 2 or 3 questions, get a free gift out of it, 100% sign me up every single time. I'm there for it. So I'm going to go into the wild side of it. And so content engagement. And so this is something where you really want to drive urgency within, your prospects. And so if you have a really short list of target accounts that you're consistently prospecting into, and you want to create really custom experiences for, this could be an idea to help you get the attention of your top prospects. So you could invest the cost of hiring your prospect's favorite celebrity to record a cameo video for them, have them plug your content, and lead them to the landing page where they can download this content. And, it goes to show that, that you're doing the extra research work of understanding what's important to that person and not just thinking that they fall into okay, this is a persona, I'm going to put them in this nurture stream or whatever. If you're doing that one-to-one experience for them and really delighting them. And I think that kind of goes a long way. And so this offers, this is for, top of the funnel, can also add up. Time blocking your gift offering to drive urgency can help you gain more attention and drive more action in a shorter period of time, hopefully converting more pipeline and ultimately revenue for you.
Yeah, that time box can be for anyone who downloads that content, not just for people who receive that cameo. But I think it's also a great way to make sure that you're not just getting people downloading your content who want the gift, but you're really pushing that content to people who you need to consume the content, like those director and VP levels from your ideal customer profile. So being really specific with who you target that gift to, especially so top of funnel, and then also time boxing it so that you can drive as many conversions as possible but from the right people at the right time. Events. You're at one right now. I'm almost positive you've probably put one on in the last 365 days and are planning on putting another one on in the next 365 days. And there is a large possibility that one or more of those events will be taking place digitally. And that space is just filling up quickly, and it's hard to really stand out. And so people are trying to find ways to incentivize not only registration, but also engagement and attendance before, during, and after the event. And so using gifting can really help you take that engagement throughout the entire cycle of your event. So you can use gifting to incentivize registrations, if that's a big thing that you need help with. You can take gifting and leverage it to incentivize attendance. So the first 500 people to attend will get a gift. The first 5 people to attend will get a gift, depending on the size of your event. Or you can kind of enable during event participation by offering gifts to people who use your event hashtag and get the most engagement on their social posts, or offering the person who has the most networking conversations with the people at your event to kind of incentivize people actually meeting new people and learning new things while they're at your event. So there are absolutely ways where you can leverage gifting, not just to drive registration or attendance, but actual engagement while you're putting on this event that you've obviously spent a ton of time curating for your prospects.
Yeah, fun fact, I was actually reading something recently that was saying, obviously everyone's putting on a ton of virtual events during this last year. And so it was saying that due to like fatigue and everything from everyone attending these events, that a typical attrition rate's usually around like 50%, but it's been jumping up to anywhere from like 70 to 80%. Which is crazy. And like, using gifting as part of that to, bring that attrition back down and really drive that engagement, I think is super important. So I'm definitely there for that. I want to kind of go into graduating your gifts. And so if you want to encourage both registration and participation, you can graduate your gifts. So for example, you can offer golf balls to everyone who attends your event, and then send all the attendees the gift of a golf workshop with a PGA golfer after the event. So basically this is the next step up. That will not only entice the registrants, but it will also motivate more of your registrants to attend the event. So this helps with your attrition as well. A great way to have the gifts feel as though, they're part of the event and not just a bribe to attend the event itself. So find ways to include the items during the presentation of the content. And for follow-up after the event with your larger graduated gift, you could do this, a couple different steps if you really wanted to. Include a video from your moderator, your CEO, or the keynote, and it will add another personal moment to that gifting process.
Yeah, Nick is someone that I'm just learning so much from in terms of putting on really personal events. I think both of those pro tips are huge. Making sure that your gifts don't feel like bribes, but feel as though they are incorporated in your event process will just make it feel more organic and more authentic to your brand. And then just that personal touch of a video at the end is it's so simple, but so few people do it that it'll really make you stand out. All right, now on to open op engagement. So a lot of marketers think that their job might be done when the initial meeting is booked or when the opportunity is open. But I think that there's a really special superpower that marketers can leverage in the sales process as a partner to your sales team. So I think there are these pushes that you can do for people who are on the 1 yard line, who really just need that extra push to get the deal signed. It's either the end of the quarter, end of the month, end of the fiscal year, or this deal has been sitting on the 1 yard line for so long that you just like need them to sign or you're going to go crazy. And so something like offering up a gift to those who are in the home stretch. So all you have to do is get that paperwork signed, get that deal through procurement, and we will send you something to celebrate. So whether that be champagne or cookies or sparkling cider or whatever else that prospect chooses to celebrate with, it could be a really great incentivization to kind of accelerate those sales cycles while also showing that marketing can be really impactful later on in the sales cycle as well. So if you're struggling with marketing and sales alignment and you want to show just how impactful your work can be, this can be a really cool idea to show that you care about that customer closing, and give them a little insight into what it'll look like as they become a customer and just how much you'll care about them, but also show your sales colleagues that like you're just as dead set on closing deals as they are.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I'm a huge proponent of sales and marketing alignment. I talk about it probably way too much, but like if you can show, if sales can think of you as basically a value asset to them, and this is the way that you can do it, working with them to close business and all under one revenue org. Like there's so much silos out there, but we all want to do better, and leveraging this can definitely help with that. So let's talk about leveraging your tech stack. And if you love technology as much as we do, Sarah and I, we are literally like all over tech, and like probably her way more than me, but like I'm learning a ton from her. So that's amazing. There's also ways that you can engage with opportunities in online avenues as well. So from creating display ads directed at your list of target accounts with open opportunities, motivating them to sign your contracts, you can also create a curated website experience for those open opportunities too. They'll probably be coming to your website a lot to make the business case, recheck pricing, look at customer stories, check out your privacy policy. There's so many different things and kind of intent that you could pull out of that you could leverage for your, personal experiences as well. And if you're using a chatbot on your site that integrates with your CRM or MAP, you can connect a list of accounts with open opportunities and create a really custom experience for your website visitors in this way. And it just goes to kind of show that, you're moving that deal along. It's basically a way to accelerate that pipeline to hopefully a close one deal that much quicker.
Yeah, 100%. I come from a background of just another company who's as passionate about creating those really one-to-one moments for people as they go through the sales process and go through different layers of your funnel as they come onto your website. Your website is your largest salesperson, so making sure that it reflects where they are in the sales cycle as well just adds another layer of delight to your whole like marketing programming. So love that one. Last but certainly not least on just like the moments in the marketing funnel is customer engagement. So I think that reminding customers just how much you appreciate them before, during, after the renewal process can only help you later on. So not just focusing your efforts on customers who are about to renew, but focusing on customers who are accomplishing milestones, whether that be within your own product or they have a birthday, they have a promotion, their company got a round of funding, they had a baby, their partner had a baby, anything like that. Being able to relate to them on a personal level and congratulate them for accomplishing something is such a great excuse to send them a little something just to keep your company also top of mind and give them the warm and fuzzies so that when it does come to the renewal or expansion conversations, it's less of a conversation about, I don't know if I'm getting value out of this, but a little bit more of like, okay, tell me about my options, because they know that we value you as a customer. And so really, I just want to know how we can grow together. I think it's instead of the death by 1,000 cuts, it's the delight by 1,000 moments that really helps create long lasting relationships with your customers that actually expand, renew, and continue to see success over and over again.
Yeah, absolutely. Say it louder for the people that aren't listening, because honestly, no one would be anywhere without customers, and like going that extra mile for them just shows how much you actually care. So definitely a big fan of that. And I'm going to go to the last piece, which is, user generated content. So It's interesting because user-generated content isn't always a part of B2B companies' strategies, but encouraging your customers to participate in surveys, driving reviews or driving participation in larger marketing campaigns can be done through gifting to your customers. And working with your customer base and enticing them to participate in your marketing campaigns with your team builds advocacy and closer relationships with those customers. And so this is the perfect time to send swag to your customers. They're already a fan of your brand, so give them a little something to keep you top of mind. And this goes back to kind of, when that renewal's coming up, you always want to be staying top of mind so that, you can embrace that longer journey with those customers and just kind of continue to build on that momentum.
Love it. All right. So those were 8 ideas that we've either implemented ourselves or are thinking about implementing within our careers or just from the Alyce marketing team in general. We did crowdsource those ideas either from stuff that we've done before or from something that we've done at previous experiences. And so we want to put our money where our mouth is and show you how you can actually set something like this up, because it's one thing to ideate on something, but it's another thing to actually execute on something, right? So we put together a little walkthrough of exactly how you would set up a gifting campaign with content consumption, because I think that's a really conceptual idea to kind of like wrap your head around. So enjoy this video walkthrough of us going through a live example of a customer content engagement campaign. It's a lot of C's. And then we will come back and answer questions and do any brainstorming that you want to do at the end. Okay. Let's talk about how we can set up an end-to-end program using your own marketing campaigns and how you integrate gifting into those in a really seamless way. So this is the Alyce Resources Center. We call it University. We have a little bit of a college theme going on, and so we play into that theme not only in the way that we want people to convert, but in the way that we talk about the offers that we're giving throughout the entire life cycle of being a member of University. So our CTA here is to enroll today. And so when you enroll in University, you're taken to this page where we position the gift. So take your school pride with you wherever you go. Not only will you get super helpful and pertinent content, but you'll also get to rep University swag and feel like you're a part of this community. So when you fill out this form, that's sort of when the magic happens. And so if I take you behind the scenes into our marketing automation platform, you can see in our Smart campaign, we have the trigger of someone fills out our form. From there, we call the Alyce Activate webhook. So you only need one webhook. You don't have to create multiple per campaigns, which is really nice. Then you have to wait a few minutes, and then we send the confirmation email, not only confirming that they are now subscribed for updates, but they can also claim their gift. And so this is what that confirmation email looks like. It says, congratulations, you're one step closer to taking your skills to the next level. First things first, here's your gift. And so we link them in this message to the Alyce gifting landing page so that they can see the gift that we're offering them and then choose to accept, exchange, or donate the dollar value of their gift. Then we go on to say what else they can expect by being subscribed, but we get that out of the way of first things first, here's your gift. So here's what's happening on the back end in terms of how to make sure that you have the right gift link to send to everyone, and that no matter who gets that link, only the people who have actually enrolled in your program can claim that gift. So if we go over to the Alyce dashboard, we can see that there's a specific campaign link associated with our Activate campaign. So this means that only people who have been whitelisted through the Marketo Smart campaign can go to this link and actually claim their gift. So we make sure that we have the recipient source as a Smart campaign. We know which one to look for, and then we can see who our approved recipients are, which is nice for troubleshooting or to make sure that people who you want to receive this gift are actually receiving it. You can also go in to these recipients and add a single recipient or also bulk upload in case there are one-off people you want to enroll or someone wants to use a different email, something like that. One thing that you can also do is make sure that you're setting a budget for these specific campaigns on a campaign basis. delineating what kind of gift type you want people to be able to accept, exchange, or donate, what vendors you want. And then for Activate campaigns specifically, you choose a default gift that shows for every single person who lands on that landing page. That person can then, of course, accept, exchange, or donate, but it's a little bit different from Alyce Personal Gifting, where every time someone goes to a recipient landing page, that offered gift could be different depending on the person. So this will be the same across everyone in that one specific campaign, and then they can claim their gift. So that's sort of the end-to-end of setting up your marketing campaign, positioning your gift, and then how to actually send it and make it seem like part of the campaign in its entirety. All right, we did it. We did a video within a video within a video, but it worked out. Thank you all for tuning into that and for dropping some comments in the chat. We also got a few questions before the event took place, so we can go through those. But if you ever want to get another question answered, you can either throw it in the chat, throw it in the Q&A. We can pull you up on stage to have a little conversation if you want to talk about a potential campaign that you're running where gifting may or may not be involved. We're happy to be flexible in that scenario. So first question that we have is, do you recommend requiring a gift action? So in a lot of gifting platforms right now, someone can choose whether you have to perform an action before you accept that gift, whether it's booking a meeting, giving more information about yourself, answering questions, etc. For marketing campaigns specifically, do we recommend requiring an action? So I'm gonna start off and say no. I would not recommend requiring an action, especially if this is on the marketing engagement side of the house, because you're not trying to simulate or try and replicate like a sales gifting experience here. This is really trying to help with marketing engagement and driving more participation in your campaigns. You want to make it as seamless as possible. And so for that reason, not having a meeting booking be required for that action would be really helpful. Also, just on the Alyce side of the house in general, if you require a meeting being booked, it will be booked with the person who sends the Activate link, in which case that's probably you as the marketer and not the account owner who owns that account. So from like a few logistical perspectives, we would not recommend requiring actions. We would keep it really open and easy to accept the gift, and then use that as a way to understand that that person is interested in continuing the engagement with your company.
Absolutely. So it looks like there was another one that came in as well. And so it's, what should the budget look like for marketing-led gifting campaigns compared to sales-led gifting campaigns that are more about door opening? So, you know, I've actually a good example of this. So I run a monthly meetup for failed marketers, demand gen people. And so I actually used an Activate campaign, the first one that we did. And so I set the budget, I think it was about between $15 and $30. It's more of like that one-to-many approach. So they still have the power of choice to swap it out, donate, or exchange it. But what I used personally was like one of those mini Rocket notebooks, and it went over really, really well. And so I think when you're doing something with, 50 plus people, I think that's a good starting point. Sarah, what do you think?
Yeah, totally agree. I think for marketing-led gifting, the budget can definitely be set lower than if you were doing sales prospecting gifting, in which case you would want that budget to be a little bit higher to show that like you really value that person, and the end goal of that sales prospecting gifting is generally to book a meeting. So on the marketing side of things, because you're targeting a wider net of people with a generally higher engagement rate, keeping it between, like $25 to $50, maybe $75. Also, depending on your audience, if this is also target ABM prospects, you can boost things up a little bit higher, but definitely not as expensive as you would go for a sales prospecting gift.
Absolutely. Sarah, I'll ask you this one. This one came in. What stage of the pipeline has gifting been effective? As I'm sure you guys have done lots of analytics on this. So
Yeah, really good question. So definitely having a gift be the first interaction that someone has with your business doesn't always hit as well as you might think, um, especially as we go more digital in terms of gifting because there are fewer people in the office. You can't just like just drop something on someone's desk and capture their attention that way. Generally speaking, the consideration decision phase is a really good place to insert gifting. So, if we're talking about the marketing funnel, definitely middle of the funnel. You want to have someone who has at least a little bit of a behavior score and like an engagement score that you can associate with them, just so that you can also make that gift even more personal to the action that they've performed in your marketing funnel to begin with. So if it's you're inviting people to a webinar or you're following up with people after a webinar or you're trying to entice people to download content, but they are already subscribed to your blog, they should know your name, but they shouldn't necessarily know everything about you yet. And that's really a good sweet spot in terms of making sure that your gift is going to be well received and not just feel spammy and out of place.
Absolutely. Let's see what else we got. I've got one from Alyce. So, do you ever do post-event gifting to only attendees that were really engaged?
I think that's an excellent strategy to use, and especially a way to tell people before and like at the beginning of an event that like, hey, there is a gift on the line, but we really are focusing on the people who were engaged, whether that's being really active in the chat during the sessions or visiting the booths or going to the networking sessions or just attending all of the sessions, not just signing up for one and then leaving. I think that's a really great way to keep people in your event so you don't have as much of a drop off rate, especially if you're doing a longer full day event. You have like a summit that you usually put on that you're turning digital. I think even like if you wanted to do giveaways in the middle of the event as well, just like this is the person who's most active in the morning, most active in the afternoon, something along those lines. So you have like 5 prizes to give out that can make it a little bit less like, oh, I'll never win that. I'm not that outgoing, but instead like, oh yeah, I have a 1 in like 10 chances to win or something like that. Nick, do you have anything to add as the field marketing guru?
So, I mean, I definitely agree. And it's tough. I feel like, in like this virtual world, it's like it's easier for us to do multitasking, especially during these like longer events. And it's like, okay, if you want to keep me engaged, gamification is one piece of it. Like anything gamification, I'm 100% in. But the other piece is like, yeah, the gifting for like being really engaged. Maybe it's something where like you said, visiting booths or answering like trivia questions, which leads back to the gamification piece of it. But knowing that it's not just like, there's a lot of field marketers here. It's not just like another one of those rigged event raffles that we all have done before.
But I really like that as an incentive. And I like that you can kind of plug that gift offer for the really engaged people during registration, during the event, and then like announce the winners in the follow-up communication so that it's always reiterated to your attendees. And if you do that multiple times, people know, oh, if I go to this company's event, like they really want me to engage with others and I see the value in it and I get a prize for it or I get a gift for it.
Yeah, definitely. All right, I got another one for you. This one comes from Natasha, and I realized that I wasn't publishing these on the.
Oh,
I clicked it, and I accidentally guessed I didn't really click it. So, from Natasha, if you want to use gifting as a door opener with a contact who has not engaged before, aside from being personal with the message gift, what are some ways to not come off as spammy? I think this is an important one. So, Sarah, I'll let you kick it off.
Yeah, I think this is really good for sales and marketing alignment to start off with. So I think it should be a joint effort between both sales and marketing to make sure that people are like, this is your first time. This is sort of your door opener. You're trying to make that initial contact, but it's not coming off as like, please take a gift and please talk to us. So I think potentially warming up that account with display ads to start can just make sure that they know your name. They know what your company is, even though it's not like a specific marketing touch. Marketing's not doing like proactive email outreach to contacts, but you're getting your name, you're putting up a billboard in front of those people. I would then have the BDR or like the SDR or the the AE or whoever is reaching out, not offer the gift in the first step of their email sequence. So instead, pushing content, introducing themselves, etc., I would have in maybe a flow step like 2 or 3, introducing that gift, just so that that person has received communication from you and that gift doesn't come off as just like desperate a little bit. But then a really powerful way to make sure that that gift is actually received, especially if that gift has the required action to book a meeting, is to follow up across channels using the gift link. So generally, if you're using any sort of gifting platform, I know Alyce does this specifically, there's a custom link associated with that gift that your BDR can use in your follow-up. So whether that's through the other emails in the email sequence or through LinkedIn or through or referencing it on your like phone calls, just hitting home on that gift and making sure that they also know that the gift was specifically chosen for them. That doesn't mean that they have to accept that specific gift, but tying it into the message and tying it into the way that you're communicating with that person will really make sure that it doesn't come off as a bribe, it doesn't come off as spammy, but it's something where you show that you've done your research and you show that you actually care about making contact with that person. And this is a little bit of an incentive that we thought would be helpful to get in on the top of your inbox.
Yeah, I've got like a little addition there as well. And so something that we're trying right now is account-specific display ads. So specifically calling out that account name in all of our display before we're going for those kind of like door opener pieces of it. And we're also in the process of creating like account-specific landing pages to help warm everything up. And then incorporate actually gifting into those account-specific landing pages. So it's something where they just get to experience everything that's curated specifically for them. So I think that's something that it doesn't come off as spammy. It comes off as like you've done your research, you know what their business objectives are, and you're just here trying to add value and show why you think it could be a solution that would help them.
Love it. We have another question on the screen as well from our friend Nina. But do you have any opinions on charitable gifting, like when it should and shouldn't be used? Nick, do you want to start us off with this one?
Yeah, so I love charitable gifting. And Alyce, we do a ton around charitable gifting. And so I think we're at like $300,000 as a company or something. And so we actually, when Texas was going through that like snowstorm thing, we actually used gifting as part of a charitable piece of like donating to the American Red Cross for Texas customers of ours as well as prospects. And it went over really, really well. So I definitely think that the charitable piece should be used in some cases. I don't see the downside of charitable gifting. I think it's something where it's like it's part of everything that we do. It's always an option to donate to charity. Leading with a charitable cause, I think varies on like what the issue at hand is. But always having it in the background, I think, is important.
Yeah, I would say for going back to Natasha's question, if you've done your research on your prospect and you find that they sit on the board of a specific charity or they volunteer every year with a specific charity, that's a really good place to implement charitable gifting in a way where you can also include maybe a required action. However, on the marketing side of things, if you're doing similar to what we did for the Texas relief campaign, we did something similar for like the Australian wildfires for when COVID-19 started. We don't add any required actions when we send a charitable gift. Generally speaking, it doesn't feel like it sits well when we do something like that. And especially because charitable gifting is usually like out of the kindness of your hearts and trying to make sure that you can also relate to someone on the other side through a cause that they're passionate about. Leveraging that as sort of like a brand building campaign instead of a specific engagement metric optimization campaign. So I would say that those are really good for the like customer engagement side of the house, for maybe the like mid-sales accelerator open op campaigns where you're just trying to really get on that person's good side, show that you really care about them, give them a little hint of what it'll be like when they're a customer because you care about the things that they care about. That's a really good time to incorporate charitable gifting with no ask of just like, hey, this thing is happening, or hey, we noticed this thing about you. We wanted to support the cause. Feel free to donate this to a charity of your choice, or like accept the donation to the like default charity that we set up here.
Yeah.
I think Nick had a really good point when we were chatting about this webinar content, actually, is that the world is kind of opening up again. And with people going back into the office slowly but surely, depending on where you are, physical gifting is coming back. And we haven't really done that in like a year. And so we kind of have to rethink physical gifting again. And how do we think about leveraging physical gifts and having the same success as digital gifts, especially in your marketing campaigns? So Nick, if you had any like initial thoughts, I can also hop in. But yeah, I would love to hear what you were thinking.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's tough too, and I know we have kind of the benefit of like we've had a lot of success with it prior, and some some states are definitely going back to the office sooner than others, but I always wonder if even some states that are going back, if there will always be people that still won't go back, and so how do you leverage that physical gifting piece? Because yeah, you can submit a physical gift because their office, you've got that whole piece of it. But will that actually be delivered? What does that percentage of deliverability look like? Is there going to be a return rate? Will the number of physical gifts sent equal the same from a digital perspective, or will it like outweigh ourselves one or the other? I mean, I don't know the answers to that, but those are some of the things that like I've been starting to think about. Like, and it's interesting because we've had a few customers that want to send gifts, say, to like people in like Florida that are back into an office, or same in parts of Texas as well. And so, as a company, we're trying to come back to that whole like physical gifting piece. And I'm only 2 months in, so like I wasn't here for like the physical gifting piece, and I'm sure Sarah could talk to it more. But I don't know. It's like it's a whole new thing that we have to like relearn. Like we've got the digital piece down. It's like now as a marketer, how do we get back into leveraging physical gifting? So like, what do you think about that, Sarah? Like, what would you do different from a physical perspective versus digital?
I think in general, the concepts of setting up a physical versus digital campaign are similar. You're still going to want to keep a lower side of the house budget when you are doing these higher, larger audience type marketing campaigns. So if you're trying to send people like physical invitations to come to your event and like have that sort of like hype be incorporated, I would still say like going a little bit, I mean, depending on the size of your event and depending on this importance of it to your marketing like pipeline and goals, not investing as much in those marketing specific gifting campaigns similar to the sales gifting campaigns. I would still have those be weighed differently, and it always depends on like what the process of the campaign is. I think for like those content consumption campaigns, those can stay digital. They don't have to go physical anymore. And you can kind of keep that as a more digital experience, incorporate that gift offer into your nurture, like keep that just like a really seamless digital experience, and then really save the physical part for larger scale events where you want to go really all out. You want to be able to have someone hold something in their hand and experience it firsthand. And so I think it will just honestly increase the amount of flexibility and creativity that marketers can have with their campaigns, because now they have the power to gift digitally and physically, and they get to weigh the option for both and be able to come to the conclusion that like, yeah, we want to spend more on this event because it's huge for helping us hit our goals. And then on the other side, like, yeah, we want to have like a small gift offer in our nurture that's just like evergreen, always going, and like consistently drives results, and it doesn't cost us an arm and a leg. So I think having that flexibility of being able to do both soon is going to be really exciting. And I'm excited to see like what our customers, what our colleagues, what our friends do in that sort of scenario, because it'll be a very phygital, going back to a webinar series that we did last year, world of marrying the physical and the digital world together again.
Yep, absolutely. Does anyone else have any questions? Anyone else want to like pop up on stage and do a live video Q&A? Feel free to raise your hand.
No pressure if you
We're
don't
here to
want
just
to.
like hang out. If you want to do a quick inspo sesh and like hang out, chill, ask some questions, we're here for it.
Yeah, they're all marketers on this Zoom. So or on this event, this isn't a Zoom. So if anyone wants to even drop like a cool campaign that they've done that incorporated gifting in the chat or in the Q&A, we can like hype you up. I know we've talked about like our Texas relief campaigns and like the charitable gifting campaigns that we've done. We also showed you like our content engagement, content consumption campaigns. And so those have just been like two examples that we've sort of like figured out. Oh, I think Kishore wants to come up.
Yeah, let's
Hey,
try
hi,
it.
hi, Nico. Hi, Sarah.
Kishore, how are
Nice
you?
meeting you all. Hey, I wanted to pick on Sarah's question in terms of what she said. Can you give us an example of a client who did a successful campaign through like Alyce Gifting? Like, was there any creativity involved? Like, what kinds of like creative examples did the client use? If you can share someone an example, that'd be great.
Yeah, for sure. So our customers use gifting in like a whole bunch of different ways. One thing that like one of our big customers has done, I don't want to like give their name or anything, just in case, I don't know, don't want to like make them mad. But they created basically through like the vendor selection that you can do with Alyce is you can choose like which vendors and what kinds of gifts you want in your marketplace. They kind of made a DIY custom marketplace for their event where they were like with the help of their customer success manager and our operations team, they were able to essentially offer a like thematic sort of experience for their really, really big event. And then they made sure that everyone received those gifts before the event happened. And then they would ask people to like use those during the day of the event. So it was actually, I think, a multi-day sort of summit, and every day they chose another like similarly themed gift for like the sessions that they were going to do, and they also had their speakers reference the gifts that were used, so that it felt like it was really like all encompassing, and that you could actually like heavily participate. And it felt like you had the choice to choose like what kind of gifts you wanted, but they were all like very specifically curated for that specific event. So on the marketing operations side of the house, they knew that no matter what someone chose, they would be able to fit it in thematically to the content of the event. But then on the like customer side of the house, the registrants and attendee side, they felt like they got the power to choose what they received from that company, and then they got to use it during the day of the event.
I have one more question, Nick and Sarah. Is it okay if I ask that?
Yeah, please.
I was just wondering, in your suggestions for these virtual events and all these things, do you guys suggest that marketers should send gifts to people who are engaged post-event? Have you guys done that before? Would love to understand if you have, like, send gifts to attendees, etc., post-event as like a follow-up email, etc.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely have, and so we actually have something too where we.
Do you mind if I hop in really quick? Sorry, Rutha said that she didn't hear or see Kishore's question, so I just want to repeat what he asked right there. He asked if we have any examples of gifting after the event and what that sort of experience looks like. The first question he asked was just an example of how customers have leveraged gifting and how they've made it flow seamlessly with their marketing campaigns. All right, Nick, you go.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely have, and so we also have something. It's kind of like so. Say we send a gift out to everyone post event. There's also like a post gift CTA, so you can actually have requirements of like, okay, do we want to drive people to an additional webinar that we're going to run for salespeople because this is for marketers on May 6th. Side note, that's coming, so maybe it'll be out there, but. We can definitely use it in a lot of different cases, and maybe it's something where you want to use that kind of post event gift for like additional information, like maybe you didn't get something out of them, or maybe there's a question that you want to ask that like you didn't have the chance to get, and so like they get the gift, you get that additional insight, which will help you kind of strengthen your position.
That's awesome. Cool.
I think also going back to one of the pro tips that Nick shared in the video is incorporating video that was meta, but incorporating a video from like the speaker or the MC or the keynote in that like thank you post gift follow up along with the gifts just adds another layer of just creating a moment out of what could have been a touch, but like you really take it one step further with that personal video, that personal gift, and then that post gift CTA that drives them to like the next phase of their relationship with your team. So I think there's so much that you can do there, but yeah, just like those little pieces of creating those moments go a really long way.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Sarah. Thanks, Nick. See you guys.
Thanks, Kisha.
Thanks.
All right.
Okay, cool. We got 5 minutes left. If anyone has any like last burning questions, but thank you all so much for coming. You will get the recording for this. You will get the slides that has like potential copy ideas that you can use for the suggestions and campaigns that we laid out for you. So hope you didn't have to take too many notes because we got you on that. And yeah, thank you all so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you. It was a pleasure.
I wish we had like a walk-off song. Man, we should have curated. But thanks, everyone.